Okay, so we wanted a big finish, and we definitely got one. So we've got coming up JB Chabe of Connectivity Facebook. JP, here he is, and he's coming from Paris, I believe. Is
Yes,
that
I am.
right? Yes? Yeah, I think we said you're in the centre of Paris, but you don't quite have the view of the Eiffel Tower. Is that correct?
I need a little bit of line of sight.
Okay, so you're going to talk to us today about Express Wi-Fi, which I know a lot of people are really interested in. So we're coming to the end of the day. You're top of the bill. You're the last act on. So take the stage.
Thank you very much, Brian. Before I delve actually into Express Wi-Fi, and although I'd love to talk about the Eiffel Tower, I'd like to say a few things about Facebook connectivity and give a bit of context about what we do. Um, Facebook connectivity, also known as FBC, is one of the Facebook big bets, which means that we take a long-term view at trying to solve what we think is a really hard problem, the access to fast internet. And I'd like also to point out that even though the lack of internet access or fast internet access is more acute in emerging markets, and this is where we focus a significant part of our efforts, our mission is not limited to emerging markets, and our work is truly global. And how do we do that? The approach we take at FBC is to undertake a number of initiatives to try and solve the connectivity challenge. So we typically invest, explore, and then we scale the most successful programs, all with the objectives of connecting more people to a faster internet. And I think it's very important also to note that we as Facebook do not, Facebook connectivity at least, do not derive any direct revenues from our programs. It's really about connecting people. You may have heard of some of our more mature programs. There are subsea cables, the terrestrial fiber initiative, Telegraph, which was just before, right? It's one of our wireless initiatives, again, one of our mature programs, as well as some of our Wi-Fi programs, of which Express Wi-Fi is part of. But there are others, and others will come for sure as we continuously explore ways of connecting more people to a faster internet. And one way of keeping abreast of what we do and our achievements is to check our website, which is shown here on the slide. So why is Wi-Fi, say, a natural component of the equation to solve the connectivity problem? For a number of potentially obvious reasons for many people. It's ubiquitous and it is growing. We expect from different sources to have more than half a billion hotspots in the world by 2022. It's very much accessible, so many devices have Wi-Fi connectivity, even if they may not have, for example, mobile connectivity or 4G connectivities. Think of laptops, of tablets, of low-cost phones, feature phones that may not have 4G enabled. And it's actually being used. I mean, people use Wi-Fi sometimes more than one we would think. So our research has shown, and I think it's many others have done that, the same conclusion, that about 25% of people, or let's say 3/4 of people use connect the internet via, or connect to the internet via mobile, but about 50% of data is consumed over Wi-Fi. Now, this said, although Wi-Fi networks are more or less inexpensive compared to, say, mobile, right? The cost of APs, typically no licenses or light licenses in most countries, they do have drawbacks. I mean, coverage of an access point is low. I'm sure Cambium does quite well there, but still, it's not, you're not going to get many 100 meters from a single access point. Therefore, you need to have multiple access points if you want to have any kind of coverage, which means backhaul, power, site acquisition, etc. And user experience is quite uneven at scale, right? I mean, Wi-Fi technology wasn't really designed with roaming or mobility in mind. And finally, expectations of prices for Wi-Fi is low, right? People don't really expect to pay much for Wi-Fi, definitely not as much as with mobile data. And therefore, it's difficult to make money with Wi-Fi. So even if it's quite easy to get the Wi-Fi hotspot on and get local connectivity, it is actually difficult to run a scaled Wi-Fi network. And Facebook's answer to this problem is Express Wi-Fi. It's a platform, a SaaS platform, to help manage, operate, grow, and monetize Wi-Fi networks. It consists of essentially three building blocks, even though it's an end-to-end solution, of course. A captive portal or user app, for which we could consider as the front end. what we call a partner portal, which is the space where a partner, which is essentially an operator, right? So we call them partners, they're the operators, access the platform to do all kinds of network monitoring, analytics, configurations, etc. And then the backend, where you have all the authentication, the AAA, the radius servers, etc. The platform has many exciting features, and I'm going to, with my limited time I have, I'm going to show a few of them, but obviously it won't be exhaustive. But I also want to point out this is a SaaS platform, right? So it continuously evolves per our partners' asks and our assessment also as well of market needs. So however great the platform may be today, it's going to be better in a few months. And I think what makes it also a bit unique, in my opinion, is that it leverages Facebook assets, Facebook engineering teams. I mean, Facebook in general is not too bad at developing software and getting it right, at least relatively quickly. It resides on Facebook infra. I mean, some of the components of it, which means that the availability is quite high, and it benefits from Facebook support as well. So we have 24/7 teams in case there's any problem that can react quite fast to any issue on the platform. And it benefits from Facebook's, let's say, big bet engagement, right? Facebook power, if you'd like, right? So we have ability to move fast. And since we're not doing this for monetary compensation, we're less, let's say, sensitive to market fluctuations, or let's say to a sales cycle, to be more blunt. So here's maybe I realize that the animations don't work necessarily extremely well, so I'll just describe here the process, just to show a little bit the captive portal, or the login process, the default login process at least. So it's quite simple. A user would select the SSID, which can be any SSID chosen by our partner. They enter their phone number, they get a 4-digit code by SMS, and they log in. The point is first that they do it only once, and they don't need to log in again, as long as they have access and the authorization, whether it's a paid Wi-Fi or anything like that, allows them to get access to the internet. Otherwise, they get redirected to the captive portal, either to pay or to watch an ad. I mean, we'll get to the monetization part. But again, the point is that wherever they are on an express Wi-Fi network, they don't need to log in again to the network. The main, I say, the most visible part for a partner of Express Wi-Fi is the partner portal. It's where they actually have access to all the analytics on the platform. So key business metrics, understanding user experience. And again, I will show a little bit of that. And the management part. And this is where they get to configure the user experience, how the platform gets to be monetized, and how the network will be expanded, so network planning as well, and the whole configuration essentially of the platform. So I like pictures to give examples and to try to talk to. And so here's an example of obviously it's a mock-up, but it's an example of a dashboard that a partner can see as a summary dashboard, right? Where they can track, for example, here the monthly what we call the monthly active users, the number of people have logged in onto the platform, the growth of those users, the number of users per access point, the revenues that come with it, and you can see here a little bit down some sales data. The point is that the data can be sliced and diced in a mind-boggling way of parameters that can be selected, whether it's location, type of users, dates, etc. And there are a number of tabs, as you can see, that allows the platform operator, essentially the partner, to drill down and get insights on specific parts of the network. For example, SLA, usage of the network on AP level, sales, customer behavior, etc. And then other tabs that allow the configuration of the platform, like to send promotions, for example, for given users, etc. So here's an example. If we were looking at the sales tab, where you can see in this case how sales are performing and how data packs are being purchased and consumed. With, as you can see on the screenshot, ways of selecting certain type of customers to target and provide launch promotions for, if that is what the marketing team wants to do. One of the, I would say, unique features of the platform, and there are a few, again, as I said, it comes to all of them, is what we call the business opportunities. The platform surfaces, right? I've shown a few of the tabs where a user can, or the operator can go and dig into the metrics and find out the various actions that they can take, either to increase revenue or to optimize the network. But the platform itself tries to surface all opportunities, what we call opportunities. So this can be on the revenue side, on the SLA side, on the cost side, using both certain rules that we put in place, and as well as some machine learning algorithms. So in this case, for example, you see the platform surfacing daily what we call opportunities, like hotspots are missing information, one access point is missing a MAC address, others need firmware upgrade, but also suggestions of how to bring some top spenders back on the network. For example, if you were to click on that particular recommendation, it would take you to the part of the tool that allows, for example, to create a promotion and send, as an example, an SMS to these end users so that they potentially would get a way to get back on the platform and buy credit or do whatever is needed to get access onto the platform. The monetization of the platform is, or the monetization models that are available on the platform is quite important, and there is no one model or one method that fits all. That's why we have made the choice on Express Wi-Fi, even though this choice has come with time, to be honest, of continuously adding monetization models that the partners can decide to use or not use, and that they can use differently on different parts of their networks. The basic one, which is of course was the first one that was enabled, is data packs. So in this case, the partner can create various flavors of data packs, whether in volume or in time or a mix thereof, as well as promotional packs. So for example, can decide to have free data for half an hour for everyone who has just joined for the first 7 days, since they're recognized by the MAC address. After that, they need to pay. Or it can be an hour free for everyone in that particular region, and then they need to pay. Of course, it can also be free for everyone. Again, this is for the partner to decide what makes sense. Another monetization model is to allow enterprises, third parties, to provide the list of users, either MAC addresses or MSIDNs, that need to be credited with a given. Again, we use the word data pack, but this could be free daily, limited or unlimited usage. And this allows essentially either, for example, enterprises to buy or to provide access to their employees or to the most loyal customers, or to create promotions in their CRM and then instruct the partner to provide free Wi-Fi to those selected, for example, loyal customers. Another version, much more, I would say, self-explanatory and common that we see is the voucher model. So this is a small business owner that can purchase or have a deal with the ISP or the partner, could be an MNO, of course, as well, and provide vouchers to their users. So we have the classic examples of coffee shops, etc. Another, let's say, variation on that theme in this case is a sponsored hotspot. In that case, it's the captive portal itself that gets customized with the partners, so with the sponsors' logo and potentially a message or a tag and a link to their webpage. And in that case, whenever a user logs in onto that access point, because it can be obviously localized, right? It's not going to do sponsored hotspot on hundreds of thousands of APs. So whenever the user logs into the access point, they'll get exposed to the brand of the sponsoring business. And last but not least, especially being Facebook very much associated to advertising, is the advertising model. in which case we essentially have two flavors of one that we call direct ads. In this case, it means that the partner can upload ads, list of ads. There can be many, of course, with different monetization values associated to that, various CPMs or click-through cost per click, as they have negotiated themselves directly with either local advertiser or with local aggregators. In that case, this is totally transparent to Facebook. Obviously, as I mentioned before, we're not doing this for revenue, so there's no revenue share. And so if you're an ISP in a given country, you have a significant surface or audience, and you get the deal with your local whatever bank, some bank, who then wants to provide some wants to show advertisement on your platform. You can get that deal directly and then decide what kind of Wi-Fi access reward the user will get in exchange for watching the ad or for clicking on the ad. So you have both models. And because we also work sometimes with smaller partners that, or in countries where, let's say, the advertising market is not big enough or mature enough, we also provide the option to share the Facebook inventory. So to use Facebook inventory, so what we call the Facebook audience network. And in that case, the ads are served from the Facebook audience network onto the platform, and with obviously some revenue that goes to the user, to the partner. Sorry. Now, how does it work? What kind of partnership model do we have? The partnership is actually quite simple. I mean, at a high level, we can go, of course, into the details, but at the high level, we aim to work with telcos, ISPs, MNOs that have a Wi-Fi network or plan to have a Wi-Fi network, and this is their network. They run it, they operate it, they're responsible for the service to the end users, and of course, locally in front of their regulators. What Facebook provides is access to the Express Wi-Fi platform, of course, with all the upgrades. In some cases, and this is an option, right, is access to the Facebook brand. So you might have heard, we have, I think there was one of our partners earlier talking about Wi-Fi in Nigeria. So in this case, it's the partner's name, Express Wi-Fi by Facebook. They use the Facebook brand and Facebook SSID. Again, it's an optional. And we get, of course, all the engineering and the support that comes with it. So that's the kind of partnership that we have, and we are also, of course, looking to expand. Cambium is one of our ecosystem partners, so it means that the Cambium APs, access points, have certain code in the firmware that allows the Express Wi-Fi platform to work a little bit better. Without going too much into the details, it allows AP level analytics. It allows much better SLA tracking and visibility of what's happening on the network than we would with a, let's say, agnostic brand, if I could use that word. So that's in essence what Express Wi-Fi is about. So back to you, Brian, hopefully with some questions.
Thanks, JP. Yeah, I've got one question of particular interest is, can it be used with any type of access point?
The high-level answer is yes. There are certain limitations. I think it depends on what kind of traffic the access point can terminate. But in general, it can be used. As I said, it might have some limitations. So Express Wi-Fi certified access point provide, first of all, a much better experience and AP level analytics.
Okay, well, we always like it when the answer is yes. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for your presentation today.
My pleasure.